Welcome to the Boulder City Podcast. My guest today is Matt Fox, the councilman for the City Council here in Boulder City, who's running for re-election. Matt, thanks for joining us. I'm glad we could get together here.
Yes, my pleasure. Thanks for being patient with me.
Yeah, well, it's been tough to get. I know you're very, very busy, so it's nice to be able to get you on here and let the people hear what you have to say. So you're running for re-election. Why should people vote for you?
Yeah, so I think, all right, I'm not a politician. I'm a common sense kind of person, and I think that's what people want. I don't beat around the bush. If you ask me something, I'm going to be honest with you. Whether you kind of like it or not, that's just who I am. And, I think I'm doing my best to look out for our community, and I'm not doing anything crazy. And, if there's anything crazy that gets brought up to council, I'll be there to make sure that it doesn't happen, or at least try.
Right. Okay, great. So, in the past few elections, we've had a focus really on the slow growth ordinance, which has been in place since the late 1970s. Some people seem to think that means no growth. Other people think it's we should amend it and then have much more growth. Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I like our slow growth ordinance. We give out the 155 permits a year, and we haven't met that in quite some time. And that's why I moved here. That's why my family moved here. We don't like the hustle and bustle of Las Vegas or the other cities. You go to the restaurants here in town, there's no gaming. There's none of that, none of the nonsense. And that's what everyone likes about Boulder City. So yeah, I like the slow growth. I think we should keep it that way. But we do need to grow economically.
Right.
So I think with the amount of houses we're building, it'll work out to where we can grow economically in the sorry, I'm having a brain fart. Not so fast where it's going to be crazy, but just enough to keep everyone happy.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So, I think it's over a year ago now, Henderson annexed a big piece of land in the El Dorado Valley that we apparently had the option to do ourselves, and we didn't do it. How can we make sure that doesn't happen again, that any land that's available down there, that we should be able to get it rather than Henderson?
Yeah, so they can't annex any more land that's going to be encroaching on Boulder City anymore. Was it last year we annexed 2,500 acres? To give us that buffer.
Right.
The land that they did get they got that through privately owned land.
Right.
So that's why they're able to get that and not,
so
because they annexed.
It wasn't like BLM land that they could have annexed, or we could have had that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. That land was privately owned. They didn't want us out to Boulder. Henderson got it, and there's nothing we can do about that.
Okay. So let's talk about the sale of Track 350 around the Boulder Creek golf course. The city the voters have already approved that, but we're talking about density. Have we settled on a density there that we know what we're going to do?
Yes. So it should be R7 through R115. So minimum 7,000 square foot lots and up to a minimum of 15,000. So there's going to be some houses there with 20,000 square foot lots. They're going to be nice houses, beautiful houses, which it should be. It's a nice golf course.
Sure, absolutely. And will there be any kind of townhouses in that description?
No, it's all single family homes.
All single family homes. Okay. Kind of like the small project on the edge of what's the street there?
Is it Storybook Homes?
Yes, Storybook Homes. Yeah. So those are very nice homes too, and
yes,
I think they fit into the pattern of the community.
I do too.
Great. So the primary consideration for the sale of 350 is to take the revenue we get from that and invest it in the pool. Where do you stand on that? Do you, especially the question one on the Boulder City ballot about the pool, a total of $16 million that we can invest in that? Do you agree that that's the way we should go?
Oh yes, we definitely need to invest and take as much money as we can to get that pool built.
Right.
Because if we wait any longer, the price is just going to skyrocket.
Right.
If you look at what's been happening the last 4 years, everything is just going up and up and up, almost on a daily basis.
Right.
So if we get it done now, maybe we can, get it built for, 20 million.
Right.
If we wait another few years, it'll be 35 million
Right,
or 40
right.
million. It's just going to keep going up and up and up. So, let's just get it done now.
So what would be the first step then if we approve this referendum? Would it be going out and maybe getting an architect or somebody who would estimate how much it would cost?
Yeah, so I think we're already in that process. I know we've had some drawings,
Right.
But nothing concrete. So it's once we get the the final numbers on how much money we got, then we'll go out and get things set in stone.
Right. Okay. Great. So you help to run a small business in Boulder City. Everybody loves the Fox's Barbecue. It's a great place to go. So does the city do enough to promote small businesses, the ones that are in town and the ones that could come to town?
Yeah. So I think Rafi, our business development guy, he does a great job. He's constantly going out and looking for new businesses.
Right.
He's been leading the fight to get us a new grocery store.
Right.
Because we all know we need one.
Sure.
Right. I hate going to Albertsons. I drive to Smith's.
Right.
Or Winco because when I spend $100 here, it gets me 3 bags.
Yeah.
When I go over the hill, I get a whole shopping cart.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine, that hurts me.
Yeah.
So it hurts everybody else, and there's people that are worse off than me. So I can only imagine, how much they're struggling.
Right.
So yeah, we definitely need a second grocery store. But we do a lot of great things for businesses. We have a lot of things to offer. We have our RDA money.
Right.
Someone wants to build, they can apply for the RDA money and help cover a good amount. They get reimbursed.
Sure.
They need a new parking lot, a new roof. They want to change the building. Well, as long as it still meets.
If it's not a historic.
Yeah,
district.
exactly. But yeah, there's a lot of money to be made, or not to be made, but to give out to help these businesses.
Right.
Unfortunately, right now with the way the economy is,
Yeah.
businesses are hurting, especially retail.
Sure.
There's been a slow movement in retail and even restaurants. It's hard out there.
Sure.
Again, RDA money, it's a great resource to have. But we do a lot, and I think could we do better? There's always room for improvement.
Sure.
But we do a lot, and Rafi's doing a great job. The city, Michael Mays is doing a great job right now. We do have the resources to help everybody out.
Okay, so let's talk about that grocery store. I mean, last election we zoned one of the corners on Veterans there for a grocery store. Any progress on that?
The last I heard, it was I think a Maverick was looking to get in there, and then they had plans to build some retail spots behind it. I don't know if it kind of fell off the face of the earth, but they had nothing. It didn't really move.
Right.
And I think the grocery, anything that was kind of interested, were a Dollar Tree or like
Right.
99 cent, which we already have.
Sure.
It was like more stores like that, so it just wasn't a good fit
Right.
in my eyes.
Right.
So I'm kind of glad that didn't happen, but hopefully something. I know they're in talks, or there's been some communication with another small grocery chain, which is a really good one.
Yeah.
Not a big, Smith's or
Right,
Walmart.
right, sure.
Not a Walmart.
No, please no.
But more of a, like a Sprouts or,
Right,
Trader Joe's style market.
Right. Okay, that would be welcomed, I think, in this town
Yes.
for sure. So one of the things that happened in the last term was the prohibition of short-term rentals in Boulder City, and that was pretty contentious. You had people on both sides, and we came down on the prohibit side. Do you in favor of that, or do you think that we should look at that again?
We definitely need to look at it.
Yeah.
Right. We don't want to build houses, and we don't want to grow.
Sure.
But we need to grow economically. Well, how do we do that if we're not going to build houses?
Right.
So you gotta bring businesses in. We gotta we're tourism. We're a tourism town.
Sure.
We have all this desert. We have the zip lines hopefully coming back. We have their train station that's being built.
Right.
We have
That's
all
gonna
these
be
great
great.
restaurants and amenities, but we need more.
Yeah.
And have you ever tried to get a hotel room here in town?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough. My AC went out during the summer.
Yeah.
I had to go all the way to Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather stay in town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not, the Hoover Dam's not that far,
Right.
or the Hoover Dam Lodge, but it's far enough to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think the short-term rentals would have been a great idea with regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Henderson does it. Las Vegas does it. With the right rules and laws in place, it could have done right.
Yeah.
And for us to just say no,
Right.
I think it was a bad move.
Yeah. But and is there a way we can have it, a certain way and like halfway through or something like that?
Yeah, as long as the regulations are set.
Yeah.
I think it could have been done perfectly.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Right. Every so often, you're going to get some jerk off that's going to rent the place.
Right.
But they're gone in 1 to 5 days.
Right.
Right. That house, could have had a jerk off move in and live there for 10 years.
Yeah. Sure.
Right. So I'd much rather be in a few days and gone in a few days.
Sure.
But yeah, we need to grow economically and bring people into town and let them leave.
Right. Okay. Great. So the state has issued orders for all non-functional turf to be removed, and Boulder City has put its plan out there. And then, the first time we really saw it happen was the BOR building next to the park. They completely tore the grass out, and they just built what looks like a rock quarry there.
That's atrocious.
And I mean, how can we make sure that doesn't happen again? Because we have a lot of other federal agencies in town that have that kind of situation.
Yeah, so hopefully it's a learning curve for the other agencies, right? I hate to look at the place. I love the grass.
Right, sure.
Everyone's heartbroken in town
Right.
what happened. But unfortunately, it's the federal government. We don't have a say in it. We can be nice, and
Right.
hopefully with that petition, they actually look at it, and it reaches the senator or the governor,
Right.
and something happens. But they can look at it and go and give us the finger.
Yeah.
If they wanted to.
Yeah, sure.
Hopefully not. I even brought up to the city attorney, can we sue?
Yeah.
Because they ruined it.
Sure. Yeah.
And she said the same thing. It's the federal government. There's nothing we can do.
Right. Yeah.
Except for get the petition in and ask nicely.
Sure. Yeah.
So hopefully that happens and they redo it. But I'm not gonna get my hopes up.
Sure. But any future plans should really be examined by the city really closely, I would think.
Yes. And to go with the other turf removal, the state law would require it's city-owned property only, multi-family dwellings and businesses, which most 99% of the business here in town has no grass.
Right. Right.
Single-family homes are exempt from it, so I have grass in front of my house, and I'd hate to see that leave. But there are great rebates through SNWA.
Well, I understand that, however, that some homeowners have received notice from the state that their grass is non-functional, and this is where I think the council could step in and challenge the state in that case.
Yeah, so I don't know if those homeowners got those by accident, or I'll have to ask and see how that got sent out. Was it just sent to everybody?
Right.
Or was it supposed to be targeted to multifamily dwellings or private businesses? But something went wrong.
Right.
But single family homes are exempt.
Yeah. Okay. And the golf course, of course. Now that both of the golf courses have plans to remove some of the turf, but it would seem to me that is functional turf. We're using it, and then some of the plans that some of the golfers have seen, they said this is going to make it terrible. Especially, and the people that live around the golf courses also.
Yeah, and I happen to live on the golf course.
Okay.
So there was they had a handful of community outreach meetings, and they came up with if they did a 10-foot barrier from the edge of the yard into the golf course, and then if we redid the driving range, which you don't need grass at the driving range really. I mean, they'll leave some grass in there for the holes.
How are you going to pick up the balls though?
Oh, that would be the golf cart.
Yeah.
That's out there. That has the little picker upper.
Yeah.
I think Muni here. I mean, it's 50-50 when I've gone to driving ranges. Some are grass, some are dirt. So they have ways to get the balls. But with the 10-foot barrier and change of the driving range, we should meet the 4-acre requirement. But we did bring up to the council was, that's the most we're going to take out. If we don't meet it, whatever fines we get, we will, the green fees, the T fees, we'll include it in that, which I think we do the math, is like $1, $2, per player.
Right.
So it's not much, and I'm sure most golfers here, because munis, it's mostly locals.
Sure, right.
So if they could keep the grass and pay a couple bucks extra, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to do that.
Yeah. And it seems to me that Boulder Creek itself was designed with that kind of desert landscaping, and
Yes.
there's not a lot of grass to take out there.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, okay, great. So there's been a lot of talk about a proposed affordable senior housing project in Boulder City attached to one of the churches. What's your view on that kind of housing for the city?
Yeah, do we need it? Yeah, we could always use more senior housing. Do we have to find the right place for it? Yes. I think the area where they originally wanted it by the cemetery, the 2-3-story building that they had planned, the people around it didn't like it.
Right.
A lot of people spoke up about it, and so we listened. They are looking at other options. So if we could find the right place and find the right option, we could do it. But there was some weird things in the contract and stuff, like with that place. It kind of like it there was certain criteria. But if they did what they wanted, it completely removed the restrictions. So some weird, they could totally build something completely different.
Right.
So once if we get all that fixed, yeah, we could definitely look into something. I do have to get back to. We were trying to set up a meeting to meet up with them. So I'll have more info here, probably the next week or so.
Okay. So where do you stand on overall affordable housing for Boulder City, or do we already have it with our manufactured home communities?
Yeah, I mean, we have plenty of manufactured homes. My sister just bought a house in there.
Right.
There's lots of apartments. There's lots of places, right? I mean, what's really affordable nowadays?
Right.
If you're in a place where you can buy a house, then you're doing good.
Right.
Especially with interest rates and the way the housing market is. So what was affordable 5 years ago, 4 years ago, it ain't affordable right now.
Right. Sure.
So I mean,
this isn't just a Boulder City problem.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, what is affordable housing really? I mean, are you talking about Section 8?
Right.
Or are you talking about apartments?
Right.
Right. I believe we have plenty of apartments, plenty of the manufactured homes. Do we need more apartments? I don't think so. I'm not a big fan of apartments.
Right.
I mean, I've lived in plenty of them. But again, right, I worked my butt off.
Sure, right.
Right. Started here, started there, got here.
Right.
And, if you're working, minimum wage, you're not going to be buying a house.
Right.
So, what is affordable housing?
Yeah.
But yeah, right. So I had a small house in Henderson. Well, I got to the point where I could afford a house in the girl streets.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, that was affordable.
Sure. Right.
So, right. Boulder's a place that people want to be. And it's not a place where you start, in my eyes.
Sure.
It's a place where you've worked hard, then it's the place to come.
Yeah.
But if you're coming to Boulder City where you're just starting off, you get an apartment.
Right.
And you start small,
Yeah.
and then go from there.
Okay. So electricity rates have risen for all of Clark County, including Boulder City, even though we're not as high as the rest of the county. But that's cut into a lot of people's budgets, especially some of the senior citizens, some of the people who aren't making that much money. I mean, do you think we could take some of the money we get from the solar leases to kind of ease that increase in electricity rates for those kind of people?
Yeah. So the solar leases, 33% of the general fund is funded by the solar leases. So yeah, we got plenty of money coming in from them, and it keeps our property taxes low. Our property tax and our utility rates are lowest in the state.
Right.
So, I mean, how much lower can we go without us, operating in the red?
Sure. Right.
So I know we just did a increase a year ago, I think it was, and I did the math on mine when we were discussing it, and I went, if my utility bill was $500, the new bill was like $506. So our utility rates did not go up, horrifically.
Right.
I think it's quite acceptable on the increase, but we have to charge enough to where we're not operating in the negatives.
Right.
So
And we also have to consider the infrastructure there as well. Our electric grid is pretty old here in Boulder City. Also, the water lines are not probably up to in the code as it would be these days. Can we use some of that solar money to make those things work better?
yeah, so with the capital improvement plan we do every year, our guys come up with a list of things that need to be changed out, and yes, technology is changing every day. So
rapidly.
I mean, if we upgraded everything today, it's gonna be outdated by tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, the staff, everyone down at City Hall, utility guys, everybody, they're doing a great job at identifying what needs to be improved first. So yeah, they're doing a great job funding everything. Again, everything's a lot of it's already been funded by the solar leases.
Right.
Now, for future solar leases, what I like to see is if they're going to pay us, say $3 million a year for that plot of land, how about $1 million of that goes directly to subsidize our utilities? So, take $1 million, divide it by how many residents we have, so everyone gets, $150 off their bill right off the top.
Yeah, that would make sense. How about our public safety departments? I know the fire department wants to build a substation on the other side of the hill, and I just was reading the other day the police department wants a new building. That building is pretty old. They've been in there for many years. Where do you stand on those kind of issues?
Yeah, if the professionals, they tell me they need something, I'm going to listen to them.
Sure.
So yeah, the fire or the police department definitely needs changing. I don't know if you've ever been in there, but it's old. Yeah. It's ratty. They get the job done in there, but they definitely need an upgrade.
Right.
As far as the fire department, Greg Chesser, I've talked with him, did a tour of their new training area that they're being built, and he says a new fire department is not needed.
Yeah.
So he said, we're fine with what we have, but they do need some upgrades.
Right.
But yeah, we don't need another one.
So we don't need a substation.
We don't need a substation. Okay. And well, because then we have to staff it. Right. Which is going to cost more money, and it's hard to get more firemen here in town because their pay is not as good as over the hill or the hours. Sure. But according to him, it's not needed.
Okay, great. All right, just one more question. What do you want to accomplish if you're reelected to City Council?
Just help the city flourish economically. Again, bring in business. Right. We need more things to do for people to come into town, especially with the lake not being what it was once. That's why the OHV thing that I tried to pass, it got shot down, unfortunately. But we don't want to build houses, so we need other stuff that's going to bring in money. And let's get short-term rentals back on. Let's get the zip lines here. Let's get the train station built.
How about that outside adventure station down by where the chamber's office?
Yeah, the chamber. That's going to be awesome. Yeah. Let's get all that stuff done. Let's bring people in. Yeah. Let's get the businesses making money, because that only returns right back to the residents, and then people leave. They go home. Right. So we're not building houses.
Sure. Right. So concentrate then on our biggest industry, which is tourism.
Exactly.
Great. Well, Matt, thanks for coming by. We really appreciate it. We're glad to get your word out to the people, and we thank you for coming. Good luck on the election.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Roger.
And everybody go out and vote.
That's right.